Another Italian Open, Bill. E benvenuti out there, everybody. Io sono Quito Valentino e questo è Guglielmo Frisella. Signor Guglielmo Frisella. I'm Quito Valentino, and this is Bill Frisella. It's a St. Louis Italian Open Golf Tournament for Charities. Again, 1994, Bill.
That's correct, Keith. This is our 21st year, and in 21 years, we've given over $1 million to charities, and that's something that the Italian Open can be proud of.
And we're going to tell you a little bit about this right after the intro. Sit back and enjoy a great Italian-American show. As I said before, 1994, this is a St. Louis Italian Open Golf Tournament for Charities, and I'm sitting with one of my best friends, Guglielmo Frisella. I call him, it's Bill. Guglielmo is Bill in Italian. Bill Frisella, owner of Metro Lighting here in St. Louis. Bill, I'm impressed.
Well, I tell you what, Keith, we're here at the Ritz-Carlton. It's our 1994 banquet. We have a virtual sellout here. We're honoring Kim Tucci, Joe Fresta, and John Ferrara, and it's just amazing the overwhelming support we get from the St. Louis community.
Now, you're going to meet the Pasta House boys and their wives a little bit later on in the show, but before we get into this, you know, the St. Louis Italian Open Golf Tournament for Charities is just what it says. The charities are, I don't know how many charities that you have, and we'll find out here in just a little bit, but the two main ones are ALS and St. Mary's Special Schools for children.
That's correct, Keith. St. Mary's Special School has been one of our beneficiaries for almost the full 21 years. ALS, which is more commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease, we've been supporting that organization for the last 6 or 7 years. You may know that our chairman, Joe Tangarro, is afflicted with the disease, and he's a strong supporter of the ALS Association, so that's one of the reasons we give to such a worthwhile organization.
Now, we're at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in downtown Clayton. It's a beautiful, beautiful hotel. Now, as the folks, as the people come in, the guests for tonight, they're greeted with some people at the door, and you have a big 10-foot round table out there filled with all kinds of goodies.
That's right, Keith. When the guests register, they're first of all they're greeted with champagne and strawberry, and then we have a beautiful hors d'oeuvre table out there. We have a beautiful dinner scheduled in just a few minutes here, and we have a beautiful auction too with about 24 different items and some really unusual items. Like we have this year the watch that John Goodman wore in the movie The Flintstones. We also have the original script to The Flintstones. We have some trip packages and a lot of other really nice items.
Bill, tell us a little bit about some of the other things that you're auctioning off tonight to raise money for the charities.
Well, Keith, we've got quite a few restaurant items and food items. One is dinner for 8 in your home, catered by Orlando's. It's Orlando's Banquet Center. Another one is dinner for 10 by Rich LaRusso, LaRusso's Restaurant. We also have Father Bomarito coming into your home and preparing dinner for 6. And the list goes on.
How many people do you expect here tonight?
Approximately 500, Keith. It's a sellout this year like the golf is.
The banquet is so beautiful. I really look forward to it every year. Now, Bill, Bill is going to be, Guglielmo is going to be my guest host this evening. It's because of people like Bill that Casa Cucina is on the air. I want to say that Casa Cucina has been on the air for 4 years. 4 years. We're on Continental Cable, we're on Crown Cable, TCI Cable, 3 times a week in the city. And I want to say that from my heart, I want to thank Mr. Bill Fresta, because it's people like him that keeps this show going. I know a lot of you watch this show on a regular basis. You tape the show. I get letters from you. And it's people like this fella here, LaRusso's, Mama Campisis, Di Gregorio's, Viviano's, and a whole slew of other people. The National Italian American Foundation, Donald Cagnata and his beautiful wife Eileen, Ross and Jeanette Durbin, and Audio Arts that make it possible for us to keep Casa Cucina on the air. So I want to thank you, Bill. You're really this is really a good guy, good person, because this is my dream. I feel like Casa Cucina, we need something on the air to combat all the negative things you see about the Italian American. They're not what you see in the newspapers and the movies or whatever, in the books and stuff. And thank you very much, Bill.
Well, thank you, Keith. I'm glad I can help.
Well, you know, Bill, what we're going to do now is treat the folks out there to a little musical tribute to a lot of the people a lot of your guests that are coming tonight.
Well, great. That sounds super.
Bill is going to be my guest host tonight. He's very special to me. He's going to be interviewing Joe and Phyllis Fresta, Kim and Sharon Lee Tucci, and John and Kathy Ferrara. So I'm going to turn the mic over to you, Bill. But before we get into these interviews, let's have a little musical tribute to all the guests that came here tonight to show their support.
All right, sounds
to the St. Louis Italian Open.
Keith, let's get it going.
Okay, great.
Hello again. I'm here with John Ferrara and his very lovely wife, Kathy. And John and the Pasta House boys are this year's honorees for the 1994 Italian Open. John is president, and I'd like John to perhaps say a few words about how the Pasta House got started and the history of the Pasta House. John?
Sure, Bill. How you doing?
Fine. Very
good. You know, the Pasta House Company got started, I think we incorporated in 1974. And we were really an offshoot of the old company, Rich and Charlie's. It was Rich Rounds, Charlie Mugavero, and myself were partners there. And in that company, we started the Pasta House Company. So Joe and Kim and I have been together in business since '74, but our relationship, of course, goes back a lot longer than that. Joe Fresta's family on his mother's side is from Palazzo Adriano, Sicily, where my dad's from, so our families go back about 300 years. And Kim and I became friends when I was working at Rossino's as a waiter in school, and Kim was teaching St. Louis U, and he was my speech teacher. And although I stuttered, he still gave me a B just for showing up in class. I got over the stuttering, but he was a good teacher. So we all became partners, and we started the Pasta House Company. We had, at that time, we opened our first unit was Frontenac, and now we're at 28 units. We have plans next year for another 5 franchise units. So we're very, very fortunate in that we've been able to have some measure of success in St. Louis, and we really thank all of our employees and our executive staff for the success we have had. And I thank my partners for being the kind of people that they are. It's one thing to be in business with people, but it's a total different animal altogether to really like the people you're in business with and be friends. And I wouldn't have any two other partners in the world than these two guys. Thanks for inviting us here tonight.
Well, that's great. Now, John's wife, Kathy, she's involved in a few things around town also, and one of them is the New Lifestyle program. Kathy, can you explain what that's about?
Sure. New Lifestyle program is an organization that assists prostitutes, helps them get off the street. There's a house we have downtown that we use for tutoring the women, child care to watch their children while they're being tutored or while they're working. We just assist them with really whatever it takes to help them get off the streets. Most of these women are women that have children, and they're just forced into this lifestyle. So it's a wonderful organization. It's headed by Sister Agnes Marie Bear, and I'm thrilled to be involved with it.
Well, that's great, Kathy. John, the St. Louis Italian Open for 1994, it's going to be their biggest and best year ever, and part of the draw, of course, is the Pasta House boys, and I just want to hear how you feel about that.
Well, I appreciate the compliment, but I understand this is the largest contingent of golfers you've ever had, and I think there's probably more a reflection of the quality of event than it is and how many years it's been going on than us being that much involved. However, it is an honor for us to be able to lend our name to this thing, particularly because it is an Italian-American organization, and without having to say it, we're extraordinarily proud of our Italian heritage, and we are really happy to be here and be involved with this event.
All right. Well, thank you, John, and thank you, Kathy.
Thanks.
We're proud to have you as our honorees.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
like to welcome Joe and Phyllis Fresta. Joe is co-owner of the Pasta House. And Joe, we're sold out, and a lot of that has to do with you and your partners. We appreciate it, the St. Louis Italian Open. And as co-owner of the Pasta House, Joe, you're involved in the remodeling and the construction of all the pasta houses. Can you give us just a little detail of what that entails?
Well, we've been at this now, Bill, for 22 years, and I came on board as a construction supervisor because of my background as being a carpenter for Sugallo Construction Company. So this gave me a little input on how to pick locations, how to remodel, which I guess you have to have a little knack for it too, but it's, you know, it really helped me in my background being a carpenter as far as doing the design work and construction work of all these restaurants.
Yeah, Joe, can I ask you, how often do you have to remodel the pasta houses?
Bill, we like to try and keep them fresh looking, so we do by every 5 years we'll do a pretty major facelift.
I see. Now, Phyllis, you're also you're involved in the community quite a bit, and you're involved in the Women's Self-Help Center. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Well, the involvement I have with the Women's Self-Help Center is basically in fundraising, and I assist in a major quilt show as a biannual show that we bring in. It's a art quilt show that's centered out of Athens, Ohio. And the entries in the art quilt show come from around the world, and there's usually about 80 to 90 quilts, and they break it down, and we bring in a section of it for to benefit the Women's Self-Help Center, and it's sponsored by the women of St. Louis. Each woman that sponsors it donates $200, and last year they had about 250 sponsors, and this year they're working well into the 300 sponsor list.
Wow, it sounds like quite an ordeal. Well, again, I want to thank you for being this year's honorees, and you guys do a great job for the community. Thanks again.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
I'd like to welcome Kim and Sharon Lee Tucci. Kim is co-owner of the Pasta House, and this is his lovely wife, Sharon Lee. And Kim is involved in the PR and the advertising of the Pasta House. Kim, briefly, can you tell us what your involvement is on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, it's all the advertising and marketing for the Pasta House company, and community service, community relations, and taking care of all the charities that we work with, and that from an organizational standpoint or just from raising money for.
I see. Well, and Sharon Lee, she has a business of her own, and that's Talent Plus. Sharon, you want to tell us a little bit about Talent Plus?
We're a professional talent agency. We represent actors, models, and speakers, and some of the celebrities in town that we represent are like Jackie Smith and Charlie Spoonhour, Debbie Yao. So it's fun.
Well, that's great. Both of you do so much for the St. Louis community, and we want to thank you for being this year's honorees. It's a virtual sellout both tonight and the golf tournament, so that's quite a deal, Kim. Thank you very much, Kim and Sharon.
Thank you.
very special people, Joe and Phyllis, John and Kathy, and Kim and Sharon. Bill?
That's true, Keith. They do a lot for the St. Louis community. They own the Pasta House Company. They employ over 4,500 people. They do so much for the community itself. They're involved in every charity just about in St. Louis, and it's just it's real gratifying to see somebody that's come from nothing and make something for themselves and give so much to the community.
Absolutely. You know, this is the banquet. Well, the banquet's over. Banquet's over. Everybody had a good meal, beautiful, good music. The auction was a success. Now, tomorrow, and the next show for you folks out there is the golf tournament itself.
That's correct. Tomorrow we expect 360 golfers. It's also a sellout, and it's going to be a very special day.
Well, we're going to start the show off next week with, again, a talk with Mr. Guglielmo, Signor Guglielmo Fresta, and he's going to tell us about all the volunteers and all the golfers, and we're just going to have a good time. And you can look forward to meeting Joe Tangarro again and a whole bunch of really neat stuff. So, Bill, until tomorrow and next week for you all.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci. Another Italian Open, Bill. Buongiorno, benvenuti. Questo è Chito Valentino. Okay, let's start over.
One second.
Another Italian Open, Bill. E benvenuti out there, everybody. Io sono Chito Valentino e questo è Guglielmo Fresta, Signor Guglielmo Fresta. I'm Chito Valentino, and this is Bill Fresta. It's a St. Louis Italian Open Golf Tournament for Charities. Again, 1994, Bill.
That's correct, Keith. This is our 21st year, and in 21 years, we've given over $1 million to charities, and that's something that the Italian Open can be proud of.
And we're going to tell you a little bit about this right after the intro. Sit back and enjoy a great Italian-American show. Okay, see what we're doing now? Then the intro starts. I thought you were going to give me a jock size.
What do you want me? Is that what you want me to say? Thank you,
Yeah, Keith. You know this is the night of the big banquet, 1994. You know.
All righty. Yes, I'm ready. How about you?
St. Louis Italian Open Golf Tournament for Charities. Oh, benvenuti everybody, tutti. Io sono Chito Valentino, questo è Guglielmo Fresta.
It's Guglielmo Fresta.
Guglielmo Fresta. Guglielmo is Bill in Italian. Okay, let's try it again.
I thought that was kind of a cute touch.
Yeah, okay.
He doesn't want to think like he doesn't know how to speak Italian.
That's all right. Here we go. Hey, St. Louis Italian Open Golf Tournament for Charities. Benvenuti everybody, tutti. Io sono Chito Valentino e questo è Guglielmo Fresta. Mr. Bill Fresta. He's president of the St. Louis Italian Open Golf Tournament for Charities. Bill, how you doing today?
Very good, Keith.
Hey, everybody out there, Casa Cucina thanks you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you for watching Casa Cucina on every week all over the world. That's all right. Listen, until next time, arrivederci. Ciao. I'll see you later. Ciao.
Ehi, dove è andato il signor Keith? Keith, dove sei andato?
Che si dice, Luigi?
Come sta, signor Keith?
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, what is going on? Tutto bene?
Tutto bene, huh?
Sì.
Aspetta, this is my show. You're gonna go home. Is that right, Luigi?
Sì, signore, ci avete ragione. Io vado a casa adesso.
That's all right. Arrivederci. Say goodbye to everybody. Ciao.
Ciao, arrivederci. Ciao, ciao. Fate una bella giornata.